Now on the APEC VIP hotline, cutting-edge training for the serious athlete, apecgo.com. Joining us right now, the head football coach of the Carthage Bulldogs, Scott Surratt. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good, Bryan. How are you?
Doing very well. Thank you very much for talking to us today. When you got off to the 0-1 start, did you think it would turn out the way it's gone so far?
Well, early in the season, I think we had 6 or 7 turnovers, and we hadn't had one since, so it was crazy. And, no time to panic, that's for sure. And, it wasn't a district game or playoff game, so we just went back to work, and we're getting better.
Well, you obviously had a really good night against Nacogdoches, 44-21. Talk a little bit about that ball game.
Well, it's 44-0, and then we pulled all of our starters, and actually it was 37-0 at half, and we pulled all our offensive starters. We let our defensive starters go a little longer because we realized we're going to play lots of snaps this week against White House, and we wanted to play a little longer. But we dominated the game and did what we wanted to do, and got our starters out.
Man, it sounds like you guys had a field day on defense. 6 sacks in the ball game. You forced a ton of fumbles, it looks like, and took at least 1 or 2 of them back for touchdowns, right?
We took a couple. I think we blocked a punt.
Yeah.
And pitched it back to D.K. Callaway, and he scored. And then we scored another one defensively. We got a fumble. We stripped the guy and carried it in. So we played very well defensively. I
saw a quote where it says you thought this might be the best defensive team you've ever had. Not right.
I don't. It may be. It's not yet, but
potential.
We have potential up front to be the best we've ever been. Our front 7, and then we have to. We got some injuries in the secondary, and when we get those guys back, we got the potential to be.
We'll talk a little bit about that front 7 then, and the job they've done so far.
Well, I think they've done very well. I mean, we've nobody's really run the ball on us very good, and we've had lots of sacks, lots of pressures, and we have struggled in the secondary a little bit, but we have gotten better. And obviously against Jacksonville, they threw a bunch of jump balls that we didn't come down with or didn't get on the ground. And I think we've got better at that aspect, and we've made some changes and for the better, we think. And we're really going to get tested Friday night. There's no question about that.
How much of a difference, and I know he's not the only guy on the team, but I know Isaiah Golden's getting a ton of attention from all the colleges across the country, and what kind of difference does he make for your defensive front?
Well, anytime you have a special guy that's going to demand the double like he does, it makes everybody else around you better. We have another one that's Mario McCain. He's a special defensive end, and he's getting the singles, and he's getting the benefits from it, and he's leading us in sacks. And of course, we have Lane Pierce is 6'6", 6'7", that can really play, and our front 4, Kalen Ware is really good. So we're very comfortable and confident in our front 4.
All right, and then talk about your offense, because you got a guy coming back with a lot of experience at quarterback in Bogenschutz, and talk about the year he's having so far.
Well, he's played 3, against Jacksonville, played 3 really good quarters, and then obviously he didn't play very good in the 4th, but that's it. Other than that, he's played very, very well. We've had a few drops, and we've gotten better at that. And T. Gorey's had a big season for us. I think he's got 7 touchdowns already. And we got some other guys coming at receiver that getting better every day, and just hadn't played on Friday night, and that, the lack of experience is the reason they hadn't played as good as they're going to play anyway, and they keep coming on and getting better.
And what about the performance of your tailback, Tevin Pipkin?
Tevin's solid as you'll ever see. He's got 100 yards every game besides Nacogdoches, because he only had, I think, 6 carries for 75 yards, and he's a special young man, can really, really run, and very tough.
It still blows my mind that your 2 main skill guys are still only juniors, and you got another year with them.
Well, that's true. And T. Gorey, the one who's caught 7 touchdowns, he's a junior. So
how do you do this? You keep finding these guys every year.
Well, hopefully they'll keep coming. We're very fortunate.
As a friend of mine once said back in the coaching regime, John Tyler back in the late 70s, he said, "Good parents."
That's right. That's exactly right.
Good bloodlines. All right, so let's talk about this ball game coming up Friday night against White House. What's your impression of the White House Wildcats so far?
Oh, they got a great football team. They're offensively, they're a special offense. Quarterback's a special athlete, Mahomes, and obviously the wide receiver 14.
Yeah, Dylan Cantrell.
Dylan is a tremendous player. He's got great ball skills. I mean, he's big, he's fast, he's physical. You know, he's got it, but he's not the only one. They've got a number 6, a number 10, and number 1. They can really play out there, and then then they can run the ball in there too with 22 and 30. So they got 2 good quarterbacks, good offensive line. They don't have any weaknesses, that's for sure. And defensively, they're not bad either. So we know we got our hands, full. There's no question about that. But we're looking forward to the challenge.
Have you faced a team that runs the spread like they run it, as much passing as they do this year?
Jacksonville did. They were passed. They like to pass more than anything, but nothing like this. Now they're very, very good at what they do. White House is, and we hadn't faced a passing team like this one. No.
I know that just in my experience of watching football over the years, and I'm certainly no expert on this, but I know a big physical front usually can give a spread team a lot of difficulties when you got guys as big and fast as your defense has. It looks like it could be a real favorable matchup for you.
Well, I don't know. They got big linemen too. They got big offensive linemen, and it's going to be a challenge. And we've got to get heat on the quarterback, but it's tricky because he's very, very athletic, and he can get outside the pocket and keep plays alive a long time. And he can throw the ball as good as anybody you ever seen on the run to the right or left. So we know it's going to be a great challenge.
How about the matchup of your offense against their defense?
Well, they've given up a few points, especially against Sulphur Springs. But other than that, Chapel Hill didn't score many, and Marshall didn't score many. And so, up front, they look good to us, and they've got 2 big old defensive ends, and the secondary looks good. And so we know it's a challenge for our offense also.
Now, this will be your last non-district game, or have you got one more?
We got one more. We play Rush next week.
Okay, boy, man, you guys are going to be ready for district by the time you get through with this.
I hope so. I hope so.
Well, Coach, again, congratulations on the win against Nacogdoches and the 4-1 start, and we really look forward to seeing your football team on Friday night when they play White House. So we thank you very much for coming on with us.
Bryan, I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thanks very much. Scott Surratt, the head football coach of the Carthage Bulldogs, on Bryan Houston Sports Radio Live on 99.3 Talk FM.